Long ago, in the distant lands of India and China, there ruled a powerful king named Shahryar. He commanded vast armies, governed great cities, and lived in a magnificent palace. The people of his kingdom respected him deeply. Shahryar also had a younger brother, Shah Zaman, who ruled another kingdom far away. For many years the two brothers lived peacefully, each governing his own land with justice and strength. Nearly 20 years passed in this way. But one day, King Shahryar began to miss his brother. He wished to see him again. So he called his royal minister. "Prepare gifts," the king said, "and carry my letter to my brother. Invite him to visit me in my palace." The minister obeyed at once. He gathered fine horses with jeweled saddles, beautiful fabrics, rare treasures, and many other gifts fit for a king. Then he set out on a long journey, across deserts, over hills, through distant lands. After many days of travel, he finally reached the kingdom of Shah Zaman. The king welcomed the minister with honor. When he read the letter from his brother, his face brightened with happiness. "My brother wishes to see me again," he said, and he immediately began preparing for the journey. But on the night before his departure, Shah Zaman suddenly remembered something he had left behind in his palace. Quietly, without telling anyone, he returned to his chambers. The palace was silent. Torches flickered along the walls. But when he entered his room, he saw something that filled him with shock. The queen, his wife, was with another man. The betrayal struck him deeply. In anger and sorrow, Shah Zaman dealt with the situation immediately. Then, without speaking of it to anyone, he returned to his camp and continued his journey. Yet the memory remained in his heart. As he traveled toward his brother's kingdom, his thoughts grew heavy, his face became pale, his strength seemed to fade. At last, he arrived in the capital of King Shahryar. The king himself came out to greet him. The brothers embraced warmly after so many years apart. The city celebrated his arrival. But as the days passed, King Shahryar began to notice something troubling. His brother looked weak. His eyes were filled with sadness. "My brother," the king asked gently, "why has your face grown pale?" But Shah Zaman replied quietly, "It is nothing, only the fatigue of travel." And the king did not question him further. Some days later, King Shahryar prepared to go hunting. He invited his brother to join him. But Shah Zaman declined. "I would rather rest today," he said. So the king left with his hunting party, while Shah Zaman remained alone in the palace. He wandered slowly through the quiet halls until he came to a window overlooking the royal garden. The garden was beautiful. Tall trees swayed gently in the wind. A fountain sparkled in the sunlight. For a moment, everything seemed peaceful, but soon, the calm scene began to change. A hidden door opened from the palace wall. Servants entered the garden, and among them was the queen of King Shahryar. They gathered near the fountain and behaved in ways that showed they were not loyal to the king. Shah Zaman watched in complete silence. For a moment, he stood frozen. Shock passed across his face. Then slowly, a strange thought crossed his mind. "My sorrow is not mine alone," he whispered. "Even kings may face such trials." And strangely, this realization lifted the weight from his heart. That evening, when King Shahryar returned from hunting, he noticed something unexpected. His brother looked stronger. The sadness seemed lighter. "My brother," said the king, "only yesterday you seemed near death, yet now you look healthy again. Tell me the truth. What has happened?" At first, Shah Zaman hesitated, but finally he told the king everything. He spoke of the betrayal he had discovered in his own palace, and then he described what he had witnessed that very day in the royal garden. King Shahryar listened without speaking, but inside him, anger slowly began to rise. "I cannot believe this," he said at last. "I must see it with my own eyes." And so the two brothers made a secret plan. That night, King Shahryar pretended to leave the palace for another hunt, but instead, he returned quietly with his brother and hid beside the same window overlooking the garden. They waited in complete silence. Soon, the hidden door opened again, servants entered the garden, and the queen appeared among them. What followed left no doubt. The king had seen the truth, and his heart filled with rage. For a long moment, King Shahryar said nothing. His eyes remained fixed on the garden below. The truth was now before him. There could be no doubt. Slowly, his hands tightened into fists. The pain in his heart turned into something darker. Anger. Deep, burning anger. At last he turned to his brother. "You were right," he said quietly. Then his voice hardened. "The world is full of betrayal." That night, the king could not sleep. His thoughts moved like a storm inside his mind. Every memory of trust, every moment of love, now felt like a lie. And before the sun rose the next morning, King Shahryar made a terrible decision. From that day forward, the king would never allow himself to be betrayed again. Every evening, a new bride would be brought to the palace. The marriage would take place at night. But when the morning came, the king ordered that the bride be put to death. Night after night, the same fate repeated. Another wedding, another sunrise, another life lost. Soon the entire kingdom fell into fear. Fathers trembled for their daughters. Mothers wept quietly in their homes. Families hid their children whenever the king demanded another bride. But there was one man who suffered more than anyone, the king's vizier. For it was his duty to bring the brides to the palace and to carry out the king's command the next morning. Day after day, his heart grew heavier, for he too had daughters, 2 daughters, and the eldest was named Shahrazad. Shahrazad was no ordinary young woman. She loved books, she loved stories, she had studied the histories of kings, the wisdom of scholars, and the legends of distant lands. Her mind was sharp, her words were wise, and she understood something no one else had realized. Stories have power. One evening, Shahrazad approached her father. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of determination. "Father," she said softly, "I wish to marry the king." The vizier froze in shock. "My daughter, do you understand what you are asking?" But Shahrazad did not step back. She spoke with courage. "If I succeed, the daughters of this kingdom will be saved." The vizier looked at his daughter and spoke slowly. "My daughter, listen carefully to what I am about to tell you. Perhaps this story will make you change your mind." Then the vizier began. "Long ago, there lived a wealthy merchant. He owned many lands, many animals, and great wealth. He lived in the countryside and devoted himself to farming. But this merchant possessed a strange and secret gift. He could understand the language of animals, the speech of birds, the voices of beasts. All were clear to him. Yet he had been given a warning. If he ever revealed this secret to another person, he would die immediately. So he kept the gift hidden and spoke of it to no one. Now this merchant owned many animals. Among them were a bull and an ass. They lived in the same stable. each tied in his own stall beside the other. One day, the merchant sat near the stable, his servants were nearby, and his children played around him. As he sat quietly, he suddenly heard the bull speaking to the ass. The bull sighed heavily. "Oh, fortunate friend," he said, "how comfortable your life is. Your stall is always clean. Fresh water is given to you, good barley is placed before you. Servants care for you well, yet look at my life. Each night, before dawn, they take me from the stable. They place the heavy yoke upon my neck, and all day long I must pull the plough through the hard earth. From sunrise until sunset, I struggle and suffer. When the day finally ends, I return exhausted. My sides are wounded, my neck is sore, my legs tremble with pain, and still my food is poor beans, straw, and chaff mixed with dirt. Then I must lie all night in filth and foul smells." The bull lowered his head. "But you," he continued sadly, "you sleep peacefully while I suffer. You eat well while I go hungry. You rest while I labor without end." When the bull finished speaking, the ass turned toward him and replied, "Oh, foolish bull," he said, "you truly do not understand your own situation. You work so hard, yet you do not know how to protect yourself. Listen to my advice. Tomorrow, when they bring you to the field, lie down on the ground, refuse to move. Pretend that you are sick. Even if they beat you, do not rise. And when they bring you food, do not eat it. Sniff the food, then turn away. Do this for a day or two, and they will believe that you are ill. Then you will finally rest." The bull listened carefully. He believed the ass to be his true friend. "You are wise," said the bull gratefully. "I will follow your advice." But the bull did not know something important. The merchant, who understood the language of animals, had heard every word. The merchant heard everything, every word spoken between the bull and the ass, but he said nothing. He simply waited. The next morning, the servant came to take the bull to the fields. They placed the heavy plough upon his neck, just as they always did. But this time, the bull followed the ass's advice. He refused to move. He dropped heavily to the ground. Even when the servant shouted, even when he struck him, the bull would not stand. He lay there stubbornly, pretending to be sick. At last the servant gave up. He returned to the merchant and said, "My master, the bull is ill. He will not work today. He has eaten nothing and lies on the ground as if he were dying." The merchant nodded slowly. "Yes," he said calmly, "if the bull cannot work, then take the ass. Put the yoke upon his neck and make him pull the plough instead." So the servant obeyed. They brought the ass to the field. They fastened the heavy yoke upon his neck, and that day the ass pulled the plough from morning until sunset. The earth was hard. The work was endless. The sun burned above him, and the servant drove him forward again and again. By the time evening came, the poor ass could hardly stand. His sides were sore, his legs trembled with exhaustion, and he regretted the advice he had given the bull. When the ass finally returned to the stable that night, the bull lifted his head happily. "My good friend," the bull cried, "because of your wise advice, I rested the entire day. May blessings fall upon you." But the ass said nothing. He was too tired, too sore, too full of regret. In his heart he said, "My foolish advice has only brought suffering upon myself." That night, as the animals rested in the stable, the ass began to think carefully. "I must find a way to fix my mistake," he thought. "If I do not, I will be forced to work in the bull's place forever." The next evening, the ass spoke again to the bull. "My friend," he said urgently, "I must warn you. Today I heard the master speaking to the servant." The bull listened carefully. "What did he say?" he asked. The ass lowered his voice. "He said that if the bull does not return to work tomorrow, he will be slaughtered. His meat will be given to the poor, and his hide will be used for leather." The bull trembled with fear. "So listen carefully," the ass continued. "When they bring your food tomorrow, eat it all. Stand strong, bellow loudly, stamp your hooves upon the ground, show them you are healthy. Otherwise, you will surely die." The bull believed the ass again. The next morning, when the servant came to the stable, the bull leapt to his feet. He bellowed loudly. He ate all his food. He stamped his hooves against the ground. Seeing this, the merchant laughed, for he understood everything, and he knew the bull had returned to work. The next morning, the merchant went to the stable. His wife walked beside him. They watched the bull carefully. As soon as the bull saw his master, he jumped to his feet. He bellowed loudly. He stamped the ground. He wagged his tail with energy, and he began eating his food eagerly. Seeing this, the merchant burst into laughter. He laughed so loudly that he nearly fell to the ground. His wife stared at him in surprise. "Why are you laughing?" she asked. "What have you seen that makes you laugh so much?" The merchant wiped his tears. "I laughed at something I cannot tell you," he said. "If I reveal the secret, I will die." But his wife became stubborn. "You must tell me," she insisted. "I will not rest until you explain your laughter." Again, the merchant refused. "I cannot reveal it," he said, "for if I do, my life will end." But the woman continued to demand the secret. She cried, she argued, and she would not stop asking. Soon the merchant grew troubled. He loved his wife dearly, yet he knew that telling the secret would cost him his life. And so he did not know what to do. The merchant did not know what to do. His wife would not stop asking. Again and again she said, "Tell me the secret. Why did you laugh? If you do not tell me, I will never leave you in peace." At last, the merchant gathered his family and several neighbors. He said to them, "My wife demands that I reveal a secret, but if I speak it, I will die." The people tried to persuade the woman. "Leave this matter," they told her. "Do not cause your husband's death." But she refused. "I will not stop," she said. "He must tell me." The merchant became deeply troubled. He stepped outside the house to think. There, he heard a dog speaking to the rooster. The dog said sadly, "Our master is about to die. His wife demands the secret. If he tells it, he will lose his life." "But look at you," the dog continued. "You are crowing and playing as if nothing is wrong." The rooster replied, "Our master is foolish. He has only one wife and he cannot control her. Look at me, I have many hens, and they all obey me." The dog asked, "What should our master do?" The rooster answered, "He should take a stick and give his wife a firm beating. When she understands that he will not tolerate such stubbornness, she will stop asking questions." The merchant listened carefully. Then he returned to the house. He called his wife into a private room, and there he disciplined her firmly until she cried out, "I repent. I will never ask about the secret again." From that day forward, peace returned to the household. The merchant kept his secret, and he lived happily with his wife for many years. When the vizier finished his story, he looked seriously at his daughter. "My child," he said, "learn from this tale. Do not bring trouble upon yourself. Abandon this dangerous plan." But Shahrazad answered calmly, "My father, I will not change my decision." But Shahrazad would not change her decision. Her father, the vizier, went before King Shahryar and told him everything. The king was surprised that the vizier's own daughter wished to marry him, but he agreed. That night, the vizier brought Shahrazad to the palace. Before leaving home, Shahrazad spoke quietly to her younger sister, Dunyazad. "My sister," she said, "when I enter the king's chamber, I will send for you. When you see that the king is awake, ask me to tell you a story." Dunyazad promised to do exactly as she was told. So when night fell, Shahrazad was brought before the king. After some time she said to him, "O king, I have a younger sister. If you permit, I would like to see her before the dawn." The king agreed. Soon Dunyazad entered the chamber and sat near the bed. When midnight came, Shahrazad signaled to her sister. Dunyazad said, "My sister, if you are not sleepy, tell us one of your wonderful stories so we may pass the night pleasantly." The king himself became curious. "Tell your story," he said. And so, on the first night of the 1001 Nights, Shahrazad began the tale of the merchant and the jinn.